Just a tiny baby bear. He's trying to be good, but he can't help it. He's like, that's my mommy winter water. I want to say he wasn't around much early on, just because he worked a lot and he had a busy social life. So he was gone a lot. But when he was home, I feel like he made a really good effort to always like make the time special. So it was more quality over quantity time with him. But he always took time to like point out something for each of us, even though there were 4 of us. He'd always find a way to point something out that we were doing right and make us feel like he was proud of us. Because he would always want to stay home and watch football, so we would make junk food or whatever snacks we like to eat, and that was our way to really kind of connect with him and bond with him. So we learned a lot about the game, and I learned a lot just because I wanted to share that with him and have something to talk about with him, and know the game so that we could have that in common and stuff. So I think the thing that I always repeat to a lot of people is that he'd always say that to know who your true friends are, because and never let anything come before family, because he'd always say that you'd be lucky to leave this earth with a handful of really good friends, like true friends that were going to be there for you no matter what. And he'd say when the good times are rolling, that you have or friends are a dime a dozen, and that you know if they're really true friends, because when the chips are down, that's when people just kind of scatter and they're not around for you, he said. So just to know who your true friends are. I've lived that from experience, in that there's always acquaintances. He'd say there's a difference between true friends and acquaintances, and you have a lot of acquaintances, but they're not really people you can count on. They're for the good times, go out, hang out, have a good time with, but to take care of those people that are in your life that are not going to let you down. I don't think I ever had a clear plan for a career in mind, but he always supported my decision no matter what. Like even when I'd say, oh, I'm going to pick up and move to Denver now, and oh, I'm going to pick up and do this now, it was always so random, and I'd announce things that were not expected. But he'd always say, I trust your decision. I trust you. If that's what you feel you really want to do, then I support you. I'll support your decision 100%. So by the time I decided I wanted to be a teacher, I already had gone through several career choices and life choices and life changes and whatnot. But he always felt like no matter what I decided to do, he had my back. He'd say you have your head screwed on tight. I feel like if this is what you want to do, you can, you do it. I trust you and I'll support you. Well, I became a diabetes educator. I went through a couple of certification levels to become knowledgeable in diabetes because of him, his diabetes. Because I wanted to know as much about it as possible, not just to be able to help him, but to be able to help any one of us. If we're all genetically predisposed to it, I figured, well, better know about it so we can get a handle on it. But it's funny that he was probably the last one that even took my advice as far as diabetes was concerned, because I remember suggesting a couple of different options as far as insulin was concerned, and he'd say, I'm the one that's living with it, and that to me was just like, well, I'm not the expert. I might have taken a couple classes on it, but I don't live with the disease, so therefore that doesn't make me more knowledgeable than him. That's the whole reason I wanted to learn about becoming an educator specific to health-related topics, specific to even diabetes, is because I just felt like I needed to learn as much about it as possible and then share if I could. It just so happened that I got jobs related to that because I was a diabetes educator, and that led to me being able to teach health at Santa Fe Indian School. Well, that same concept that he kind of made me realize, it's like, well, that's true. No matter how much I learn about anything, any disease, any illness, whether it be diabetes, cancer, heart disease, anything, it's like the real expert is the one who's living with it. So I like to bring in guest speakers that do have specific diseases that we are covering in class because, just to instill that knowledge that if my students are the ones that are going to be the doctors and the nurses of the future, then they need to know now to listen to their patients. If they have a lot to learn from their patients, not just them teaching their patients how to take care of themselves. It's them taking the time and having the respect for their patients to know, like, yeah, I might be a doctor, but my patient is the true expert. And I want them to have that mentality as they go into their own professions because, that's something I learned from Gramps. It's like, yeah, I don't really know that much about diabetes, to be honest. Like, they're the ones that are living with it. So we have to give them all of the acknowledgement and respect for what they're going through. And so I try to instill that with my students by bringing in people that are living with the disease. Just at the end of every workday, I feel like I've shared something with a student or two or three or four, or maybe even the whole class, or they've shared with me, we've had an interaction that has changed something. It's changed a dynamic, a relationship, a conversation that helped them maybe think of things in a different way, help me think of things in a different way. I'm proud of my students. I'm proud of them as if they were my family. They're part of the greater good of our lives, all of our lives, especially if they're going to go out and make a difference in the health care field. Learning to not take things for granted. Learning not to take any day that we're given for granted, because seeing him sick, or seeing as much time as we spent in the hospitals with him and facing all his daily struggles, I just realized, like, people say life is so short, and that's true for some people. Life is cut way too short, but for some people life is too long. Some people suffer way past their ability to want to suffer anymore, want to fight anymore. But regardless of how long life is, I think one thing that's true for all of us is it's just fragile. Like, you don't know from day to day how your life is going to change. Even if it's not health related specifically, but if it's something that would take away your ability to do the things that you love to do, takes away your ability to be with your family, whether it's a move or a divorce or life-changing situation. You never know when it's just going to totally turn upside down. If you're not able to adapt and able to look at every obstacle as a growing opportunity or learning opportunity, and you don't know how to extract the positive from every difficult situation, then life's going to be tough. You have to, because life challenges us all in different ways, but you have to adapt and make the most out of everything. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, you have to just love the life you're given. He wouldn't have wanted us, the fact that his life ended here on earth, I think he would have been sad if he would have realized or known that was going to cause us to stop doing what we love or stop living the life that we love to live. And I feel like it did stop for a little bit for all of us. I feel like we just stopped in our tracks because it was so emotional to lose him. But at the same time, because he did let us know that he was proud of us and the things that we did along the way, I want to keep, if he's able, whatever heaven is, if he's able to still see whatever we're doing here on earth, then I still want him to be proud of all of that. Whether it's like being a good mom, being a good family person, being a good daughter to grandma, or whatever, hosting a holiday, making tamales, or doing the best I can with the work that I do now. I feel like I still want to make him proud. That's what allows me to keep going, for sure.
what I wanted to stress most upon you is don't ever give up hope. I've had good days, bad days. There's days that are wonderful, they're blessed. And then there's bad days, of course. That's when you have to put on your tough person shoes and good things happen from one day to the next. So don't ever. God is going to find a way to take care of you. He will, and He'll take care of you. And I hope you wish you well. God bless you, and remember what I said. Don't ever give up hope. Good things are just around the corner. Thank you. May God bless you.